Just talking about your excitement level, fans back for the regular season this Sunday against Seattle, and then how much does that help the defense? The defense has always seemed to feed off the U.S. Bank Stadium crowd.
I'm very excited. I know our players are excited. Our fans are the best in the world. They help us out big time on defense. They make it difficult on the offense. They give us a jump, defensive line a jump in third down situations. So I hope they're unbelievably loud on Sunday. They give our team energy, and so we're all excited to play in front of our home fans for the first time this year.
In all the years you've played against Russell Wilson, how have you seen him change the most from kind of his game manager days to what he is now?
He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He's great throwing the ball. He knows where to go with the ball. He manages their whole offense. He runs the whole thing. A lot of it's no huddle. He can escape when he wants to. He doesn't run around as much as he used to when he was younger. But he knows how to get out, and he knows how to make plays with his feet, and he knows how to get on the edge and still make big plays down the field. So he's a tremendous challenge for us on Sunday.
Have you ever seen a quarterback be more accurate, deep down the field, 30, 40 yards?
That's the thing that's impressive about him. He made a throw, I think it was against Indianapolis, and he had a pressure in his face, and I don't even know how he knew where the receiver was, and threw it up and hit him on a dime. So, 30, 40 yards down the field, he's one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the league.
How do you simulate that in practice for your guys? Is that pretty tough to do, just knowing that skill set he has is just so rare?
Yeah, you can't. You can't. You try to do the best you can to give him the best look that you possibly can, but you don't have that guy on your team, and you definitely don't have him on your practice squad. So, so that makes it real difficult to be able to do. The best thing you can do as a coach is show them on film what he does, where he likes to go, how he likes to get out, what he does when he's outside, what he does when he goes inside, and what's the best way that we can do the best job we can to keep him in the pocket. It's very difficult to do, but it's our challenge on Sunday to do the best job of it as we can.
Andre, obviously there wasn't overtime this past week, but Hunter's snaps, I guess, went down from 60 to 53. Did you feel he was maybe a little bit fresher out there, or just getting another game under his belt obviously has helped him?
No, I didn't think he was. I didn't think he was tired week one. That's what I said when I was in here. It had nothing to do with fatigue for him in the course of the game. He's in tremendous shape. But I think you guys saw what I said a week ago when I was in here, that I told you I could see him, starting to become himself in the second half of the game against Cincinnati, and he looked like D on Sunday. And I think he's just going to continue to get better and better and better.
Andre, are there any points of emphasis that you make when you see your first two opponents score twice right before halftime?
Yeah, we got to be more focused. We got to be more on point with what we have to do technique-wise, and we can't blow coverages. Those are the things that gets us in trouble, and so we just got to do a better job of making sure that we execute our job and our technique in those situations. Those are high, you look at the end of the game, okay? In both games, at the end of the game, the defense went out and did what it was supposed to do. It stopped them, got the ball back for our offense to give our offense a chance to score and win. Well, we got to have that same laser focus at the end of the second half, at the end of the first half, that we do at the end of the game. And so they proved they can do it because they've done it twice at the end of the game. But they got to do that at the end of the second quarter also.
Patrick Peterson gave us a stat after the game. He said teams that give up a score before halftime are 76% more likely to lose. Is win probability and swings like that something that the coaching staff talks about to the players?
No. No, it's football, man. You see all kinds of stuff. Oh, teams that are 0-2 have this kind of percentage to make the playoffs. Come on. Let's be real. You got 15 games to go, man. You got to go play. This is about playing. You never know what your team is going to do. Now, I get people look at history and it sells on the internet and you guys' job. I get that. But the bottom line is this. You got to go play Sunday better than Seattle and win. And then when you win that one, you got to go play better the next week and win. and you keep building them and you keep building them. Your team is not what it is going to be at the end of 2 games. We got 15 more to go. So we just got to go play. We got to keep getting better, keep working to improve, and that's what it comes down to.
So you don't show frustration when things don't go the way you know they can play?
No. I'm a teacher, right? If you were my math student and you had a hard time with a problem, I'm not going to get frustrated with you. I'm going to go pull up that chair. I'm going to sit right next to you and teach you how to handle that problem. That's how I see coaching. Okay? The guy's not making a mistake on purpose. He's trying to do the best he can do. Well, maybe I haven't given him the right trigger word to get the light to come on. Maybe I haven't given him enough reps to get the light to come on. That's my job. That's what they pay me to do. But for me to get frustrated, okay, I'm not doing the best job I can for that player. They're not trying to make a mistake. They're not trying to do wrong. They're trying to do the best they can. But sometimes we haven't put them in the position, or we haven't explained it in a way or given them enough reps to where they can go out and execute it at a high level. That's what we're trying to do.
Last year, I know this is a history question, you might not like it, but you guys were 0-2, but you didn't play well in the first 2 games. This year, you're 0-2, but you played better in the first 2 games. Is 0-2 still 0-2, or is there a different vibe because you guys have played overall better?
0-2 is 0-2. That's who we are. You know, I mean, you know, some people say, hey, you're 1 fumble and 1 missed kick away from being 2-0, right? That's true. But we're 0-2. That's who we are. You got to live with it. You got to accept it. You move on to it, and you let it go, and you move on to the next opponent. But you can't get caught up in all the coulda, woulda, shouldas. That's what keeps teams from growing and getting better. Okay? You can't get caught up in all that stuff. You got to get caught up in what you have to do today to get better. And then you move on to the next day. What do I have to do today to get better? And so when I go look at the game on Sunday and I evaluate the guys, I'm going to evaluate them. Did they improve? Did they get better? Or do they look the same as they looked the week before? Then if they are, then I got to find a way to change that. And that's what it comes down to.
Andre, you brought up the busted coverages. Is that just a secondary learning to play together as they kind of 3 new pieces in that secondary?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of that. I think, too, you know, 2 of them happen in a 2-minute situation, and they're hurrying up on the ball, and you kind of lose a guy, you know. So it's being comfortable. It's the communication also, too, that, you know, there's a lot of communication that goes on in the back end where, you know, a guy's yelling, drag, over, okay, watch 2, you know. And so sometimes a guy gets focused on watching his guy and doesn't see the whole thing. And so that plays a big part of it, too.
Just in general, how are you guys feeling about the way Bashad Breeland has been playing?
Oh, he's doing okay. He's made some mistakes, but he's done some good things too. And we just got to keep working with him. He's a good football player. We just got to keep working with him, keep improving, and he'll be okay.
Andre, with Wilson, when you've seen him the last 3 years, and you have guys like Patrick Peterson that played him twice a year, does that help in terms of knowing what he's going to do and kind of being ready for all the different ways he can hurt you?
Well, we might as well be in their division. Was this 4 years in a row? So I don't think we have to ask anybody. You know, we've played them 4 years in a row. Fortunately, we get them in our great place this time, and we've been going there the whole time. So that hopefully that gives us an edge. All 4 games have come down to the end, and this one will too. You know, so hopefully we can find a way to pull it out this time.
It's just like having a blindfold on when you look at the 2 quarterbacks and their abilities, which are similar in the sense that they can take off, they can go deep, they can make you miss.
Mm-hmm. There are a lot of qualities that they have that are very similar, especially when Russ was younger. You know, the guy we just played, his quickness is unreal. You know, Russ now has the ability to make you move from giving you a shimmy or throwing the shoulder like he's going to go down and then pop outside of you, whereas this guy's feet and his quickness was unreal in Arizona. So, you know, sometimes you got to tip your hat to a guy. He just makes a play. You know, and the comment I made is, you know, why did he run? He ran because he didn't want to get hit. So there were some things we did good too, right? We won some rushes. He wouldn't have ran if we weren't putting pressure on him. You know what I mean? We put pressure on him. That's why he ran. But, you know, sometimes you got to give a guy credit for making spectacular plays, and that guy made a bunch of them in the game last Sunday.
Is that a product of when you see the numbers of when he's under duress and he's got, 140 yards, 2 touchdowns, so you say, hey, it's actually pretty good because of what, the situation you guys forcing him out of the pocket, forcing him. Like, how do you, I guess, what are those teaching points when you see what the pressure numbers, at least on paper, look like, but like what they actually are and what they yielded?
Well, I think, when you sit and watch the tape, you give the guy credit that beat the offensive lineman to put the pressure on him. And you say, hey, that's a good rush, and you did a good job. But once you start to close on him, stay a little bit higher on his upfield shoulder to keep it from bouncing around, to bouncing outside of you. I mean, at 99.9% of the time, if I got D running free at a quarterback, I'm putting my money that D's going to hawk that guy down. He outran D. I mean, so, that's one of those deals where you got to tip your hat to the guy, and he made a play. And, but there's some plays, too, where we were chasing him down. He threw the ball out of bounds. That happened a couple times, too, throughout the course of the game. But, great players make great plays at times, and he did do that.
To that end, Stephen Weatherly was in the backfield quite a bit. What did you make of the way he rushed Murray and kind of what he has to do against Russell Wilson this Sunday?
Yeah, I think he did it. I think Stephen had a second week in a row that he played very well for us. He had some really good rushes in the game. He was physical at the point of attack. The one touchdown, Stephen came free off the edge and tried to stay as high as he could, and then he gave him a little shake and bounced outside of him, and then it was a foot race to the sideline, and he threw the deep ball down the field. So you try to do the best you can, but you got to give Stephen credit for getting back there. I just had to make sure the guys saw that we're winning rushes. And that's what their job is. We're winning rushes. And so now we just got to get them on the ground every time we get back there.
Has Seattle's philosophy changed offensively from run to, I'm thinking, deep right off the bat?
Yeah, no, they still want to, as long as Pete's the head coach there, they're still going to want to run the football. But they're going to find a way to make sure that Russ gets 5 to 6 deep shots throughout the course of the game. And they're going to make sure he's protected to get those off. There's sometimes they keep 8 guys in protection and run 2-man routes down the field. So they got 4 hands on all 4 defensive linemen. And he can stand back there and be comfortable and let the routes develop deep down the field. And heave it up, and they got 2 receivers that can go get it.
Up front for the past 2 weeks, it looks like there's been a mix of 1-gap and 2-gap approaches along the defensive line. If that's the case, what are the benefits of mixing that up or to each individual approach?
There is no 2-gap, so we don't run any 2-gap. There are times where you see us all 4 D linemen on edges of offensive linemen. And then there are times where you see us in the middle of offensive linemen. And we're still playing a specific gap, even though we're lined up in the middle of the guy. And so when we're in those principles, it's helping us flatten the run game out. The NFL's changed over the years. The run game now is more lateral. It's more sideways than coming downhill. And when we can square up on an offensive lineman instead of being on the edge of an offensive lineman, it makes things not travel as fast, and slows it down. And so there's times in the game where you see us go from edges to in the middle.
Has Everson cleared protocol?
He's going to do some individual today, and then we'll see what happens from there.
Are you optimistic you'll have him on Sunday?
I hope so.
Okay.
Yeah, I hope so.
Assuming you have him, and Daniil's playing a lot of snaps on one side, what kind of challenge is it figuring out who gets the snaps when you got 3 other defensive ends? Griffin, you said Weatherly's playing well, then Wanham, obviously.
No, it's not nothing difficult. They all have their roles. They know when they go in, what personnel groups they're in, and then during the course of the game, I roll guys in for other guys.
How's he feeling? I mean, that's got to be a pretty scary thing to get in a car accident on the way to work.
Yeah, he's feeling good. Like it would scare any of us to have to go through that. But fortunately, he's healthy, and he didn't get hurt. And the only thing that got hurt was his car. So we're very fortunate there. So, but he's doing good.
When you've had Tomlinson and Pierce on the field together, has that had the desired effect in shutting down the opponent's run game that you wanted it to?
I think both those guys are playing very good. You know, we've had a middle linebacker have, 12, 14 tackles 2 games in a row. You know, that's because of those 2 big guys in the middle. I think our other linebacker had, 8 or 9 tackles. So they're doing what they're supposed to do, you know, and because of that, we're seeing more runs towards the edges, you know, more crack tosses, more runs that are heading towards the outside than they're going, you know, downhill. So I'm very pleased with the way both those guys are playing. Now, Dalvin had 2 hits on the quarterback. You know, the one freaky play where he tipped the ball and then it hit off of EK's arm, and then their guy caught it, you know, so he's doing good.